Okay, how many of you just learned something interesting about these folks at the front table? Didn't I ask everybody the same questions? I didn't spend more than a minute or two with any one person, but look what we found out. These questions are great because it's a track to run on. Most people don't know what to do after hello. So this is a track to run on. This gets people who before were not confident at all about connecting with people to know what to do after hello. And so newscasters, what time is it? Look at your watch, bottom of the hour. Stand up, put both hands way up in the air, stretch, stretch, stretch. This is a stick up, I'll be coming around, no, never mind. One arm behind one shoulder, one behind the other, give yourself a massage. And sit back down, sit back down. Keep people moving, keep people moving. Notice some of the answers we just got to the questions. In doing this for some 25 plus years, I've noticed that there are patterns to the way people answer questions. And what mistakes have I made in the past? I have jumped to conclusions. I've taken something for granted. I fell in love with potential. And in many cases, I found out I was wrong. What if from this moment on, I could literally improve your communications by 100%? Would that be worth more than your price of admission today? I believe so. So I have noticed patterns, and from those patterns, I've created something very valuable called the 4 rules of answers. The rules of answers. Abide by these, you'll be amazed how accurate they are. The number 1 rule of answers: an instant answer with strong words equals yes. Instant answer, strong words equals yes. We just heard several samples. Was it a good move to come here? Absolutely. Weren't those yeses? There was no question. Those were absolute yes. However, we got to be careful, because there's rule number 2. Bless you. What do you say when God sneezes? Never mind. Rule number 2. An instant answer with weak words equals no. Instant answer, weak words equals no. Does this product of mine meet your needs? Yeah, it looks like it's going to work out okay. Looks like it's going to work out okay. How many of you would agree with me? I have nothing. I have nothing. Had you liked it, you would have said, sure, wouldn't you? But you said, yeah, it looks like it's going to work out okay. What have I got? Nothing. What should I do? Easy now. Don't get upset. Ask more questions. Ask more questions. And watch your tone of voice. So if this product doesn't totally meet your needs, do any of my other products around the room meet your needs a little better? So if I'm gentle with you enough, you might feel safe to say, well, Boaz, that one over there. Well, fine, let's go over there. Now we're back on track. What if they give me a secondary no? I asked if this product meets your needs, and you said, yeah, it looks like it's going to work out okay. And then I said very gently, so if this product doesn't totally meet your needs, do any of my other products around the room meet your needs a little better? Now, if I have made you feel safe, you might have the guts to say, frankly, boys, I got to tell you honestly, no. Anybody here think this might be an opportunity? I do. And let me show you how we turn it into an opportunity. Let me show you. So, John, if this product doesn't totally meet your needs, and if none of my other products totally meet your needs, which I can appreciate and I can respect that, could you please describe for me what the perfect product would look like? And then take notes. Take notes. Yeah, he's showing me. Take notes. Please write down the greatest honor we pay anyone. This is directly out of Carnegie. The greatest honor we pay anyone is rapt attention. R-A-P-T. So am I right, John, that if I'm not only listening to you, but actually taking notes of what you're writing, am I not paying rapt attention to you? But the average person is paying no attention to anybody. Don't talk to me, anybody. Don't talk to me, anybody. I'm texting. Don't talk to me. I'm texting. Just don't talk to me. And I come along and people think I'm from Mars. That Boaz fellow's so weird. You know what he wants us to do? He wants us to put our equipment down and actually talk to each other. Well, I think it has potential. It's called being human. All right? JT, just thinking. Okay, and as he is telling me the perfect product, as he is describing it for me, once again, my mother's words, John, please tell me more. Tell me more, rather than I hope you stop so I give you more brilliance. And once he has described the perfect product, so John, if I can go back to our people here and we could create this exact new product you have just described, that would of course meet your needs, wouldn't it? Of course. Guess who's going to be my number one customer for the new product? The person who created it. Who's going to want to promote it for me all over the world free? Am I right? The person who created it. Please write down from the Carnegie book, people will fight for their own ideas. People will fight for their own ideas. I think if you're the only one in your company solving problems for everybody else, I think that's bad for your culture. Who would agree? I think that's bad for your culture. Who's the only one growing? You! Why do you have to solve anybody's problem? Why not say to somebody, if you were me, if you were sitting in my chair, if you were the head of this division, if you were the head of this company, how do you think I would resolve the issue you have just brought to me? Well, Boaz, I don't really know. Oh, no problem. You're smart, you're capable. Why don't you go back to your office and think about it? Just put yourself in my shoes and just think about how I would resolve it. Let's meet later today. Let's meet at 4 o'clock and you come back and you tell me how you think I would resolve it. And when they come back, find something even this small that you like. Oh, now you're heading in the right direction. Think a little more about that. Yeah, that's in the direction I would resolve it. And when they finally come up with what you wanted, say, now go implement. And they will grow. So people will fight for their own ideas. So instant answer, strong words equals yes. Rule number 2, an instant answer with weak words equals no. Means ask more questions. Rule number 3. A pause usually equals no. A pause usually equals no. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, Boaz, there are some deep thinkers in the universe. Yeah, a few, but not too many. Most people can pretty well give you an answer to something. So a pause means they're thinking about it. Ask more questions. These first 3 can be heard over the phone. The instant answer, strong words. The instant answer, weak words, or the pause. Rule number 4 of the rule of answers, eyes darting away horizontally equals no. Eyes darting away horizontally equals no. Now, I'm not talking about somebody looking to the upper right or the lower right. They're going back to their memory. Have any of you ever seen that? They're going back to their memory. But has anybody in the room ever seen the eyes just go horizontal for a split second? Anybody ever seen it? It's there if we pay attention, isn't it? If we pay attention, it is there. But the majority of people are not paying attention. And I'm thinking your answer was totally yes to me, and it wasn't. There came a second when we disagreed. You disagreed with me, and I didn't pay attention. And 3 months from now, I have problems to go back to this moment. What should I do if I see the eyes just darting horizontally? I should stop. So, I'm sorry, did what I just say upset you? Or do you have a different idea? Maybe they got a better idea that can save me a lot of grief, and I can fix it right here. Now, a subset to point number 4 about the eyes darting away horizontally. If somebody totally looks away from you at the point of the answer, it's usually a lie. I cannot face you, I will give you a lie. Now I'm back. Why do they look away at the point of the answer? Something is going on. Now, if you have teenagers and they're pausing and the eyes are darting, you've got big problems. Ask a lot of questions. Ask a lot of questions. All I'm saying with the rules of answers is slow down. Slow down. If anything doesn't seem right, the body language, the tone, the eyes, ask more questions. How many of you would agree with me this could be valuable? Seriously, big time, big time. I get people to write to me and say, Boaz, my gosh, those rules of answers have improved my communication by 100%. I know exactly what people are saying instead of, I think she said this or I think he said that. The 4 rules of answers. Any questions? Any questions about the rules of answers or the 5 questions? Any questions? How many of you have already gotten at least one really good idea this morning? Raise your hands, at least one good idea. So everybody, I'm just curious, how's business? Excellent. I need some more volunteers. So the second table over here, come on down. All of you right there in that table. Very nice. Very nice. Come on down. Come on down. Come on down. I'm going to sell you on how simple this is and how powerful it is. And later I'll give you some money values on these 5 questions, which happen to be worth a fortune. Come on down. First name?
Mark.
Mark, I'm just curious. Where are you from originally?
Santa Cruz.
And you live here now?
Yes.
What brought you here?
School.
And you decided to stay?
Yes.
Was that a good decision?
Very good.
Yeah, see, that was a big answer. That was not an average yes. People say he said yes. No, he didn't. He said very good, meaning it turned out to be important. What did you want to be when you were growing up?
Probably wanted to go to the military.
Did you end up in the military?
No.
Okay. Anybody here serve in the military? Anybody here serve in the military? Would you all give them a nice round of applause, please? Absolutely. 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 And so, do you have a family?
Yes.
Tell us.
Wife, son, and a daughter.
And how old are your kids?
27 and 24.
All right. And what do you do now?
Okay.
Do you enjoy that? Oh, yes. Okay, thank you. See, that was a big yes. That was not a yes. How's business? Thank you very much. Come on down. Curious, where are you from originally?
Wagner, South Dakota.
And you live here now.
Correct.
What brought you here from South Dakota?
Took a long way, but I came here for school,
And decided to stay.
more or less.
Are you here for sure?
I went out and I came back. And I came back.
Okay, were you part of the witness protection program? There's something suspicious here, but I'm not going to further. Okay, what moves around the country? Well, when you said you were everywhere.
Nevada, Idaho.
Why were you in those locations?
More school and a job.
Okay, is it a good decision for you to be here now?
Yes.
All right. What did you want to be when you were growing up?
A dancer?
Oh, did you end up becoming a dancer?
No.
How come?
No talent.
Oh. But other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you like to play? Now, do you have a family?
Yes, a husband and 4 children. One of them's here today.
Oh, where? Oh, very nice, very nice. What's something nice about him?
His attitude.
Yeah, which is a big difference, isn't it? So you have how many boys and girls?
3 boys and a girl.
Okay, and the age ranges?
28 to 22.
All right. And what do you do now?
I'm the president of a gas transmission company.
Okay. And can you see how some of the ideas we're sharing here could be of value?
Yes.
Okay. And how's business?
Unbelievable.
Thank you. Have a seat. Bill, come on down. Come on down. Just curious, where are you from originally?
Oakland, California.
And you live here now?
I do not.
Where do you live?
I live in Walnut Creek, California.
What took you to Walnut Creek from Oakland?
Oh, that was a roundabout way to get to. From Oakland to Walnut Creek was about 6 job moves.
Okay. Is it a good decision for you to be where you live now?
Yes, I love Walnut Creek.
Okay. What did he just tell you? Not an average yes. Yes, I love Walnut Creek. See, success leaves clues, and usually they're the last words of somebody's statement. But we're in such a rush, we don't hear what he just said. His words are big. What did you want to be when you were growing up?
I believe it was an accountant.
Did you become that?
I did not.
How come?
The business school didn't let me in.
I see. And do you have a family?
I do.
Tell us.
My wife and I are raising twin boys.
And how old are they?
They are both 14 and a half.
Ironic. So they're beside themselves. Now, what do you do work-wise now?
I'm a human resources manager.
And you enjoy that?
I do very much.
So you understand this people stuff is everything, isn't it? How do we get along with each other? How we connect?
Yeah.
That was about as wimpy a yeah as I've ever gotten. So what do you think?
No, absolutely. The
Yeah.
people make the business.
Exactly. It's not the equipment or the product. It's the people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah. And so how's business?
Unbelievable.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Come on down. Come on down. Carly, I'm just curious, where are you from originally?
I'm originally from the Bay Area.
And you live where now?
I live in the Bay Area.
Okay. And so you've been there all your life?
Yeah, actually, I did move to Chico for about 7 or 8 years.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what took you back to the Bay Area?
Job, work,
Good decision to be there?
excellent decision.
What'd you want to be when you were growing up?
I think a veterinarian is what I wanted to do.
Did you pursue that?
No.
How come?
I kind of just had other interests in college and went that way.
So the directions you took, did those end up being good ones?
Absolutely.
All right. That was a very strong yes.
Mhm.
And do you have a family?
I do.
Tell us.
I have a husband and a 2.5-year-old daughter,
Oh, and how old, what's her name?
Haley.
Haley. When is her birthday?
July 20th, 2011. Mhm.
Okay, okay. How many keys to her heart did you just hand over? All of them. And what do you do?
I'm a manager for an engineering firm.
And you enjoy that?
I do.
How's business?
Unbelievable.
Love her enthusiasm. Come on down. Yeah. And your first name?
Lydia,
Lydia. I'm just curious, where are you from originally?
Elk Grove, California.
And you live here now?
I live in Walnut Creek.
Okay. Is that very far from Elk Grove?
It's about an hour and a half.
What took you to where you live now?
I got hired by my current company.
Okay. Is it a good place for you to be? Where
It
you want?
is.
Yeah. What did you want to be when you were growing up?
I wanted to be a school teacher.
Did you end up doing that?
I didn't.
How come?
Other interests in college as well.
All right. And do you have a family?
I have an amazing fiance.
Oh, what's my next question, everybody? Yeah, is there a date?
There is, August 2nd.
Oh, this year?
Mhm.
Okay, and are you registered somewhere where all these folks can give you gifts?
Williams-Sonoma.
Williams-Sonoma. How big is that date in her life? Much more important than any business we will ever do together. So pay attention to those things. And so you're excited about your marriage?
So excited.
Oh, how
Can't
cool. Oh, did you hear her last words? What'd she say? Can't wait. Hear every last word. And then what do you do now?
I'm a project analyst for gas distribution engineering.
And you enjoy that?
I like it a lot.
All right. Again, well, how big an answer did she just give me? How's business?
Amazing.
One more.
Unbelievable.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Caleb, I'm just curious, where are you from originally?
Chico.
Okay, did your parents have a specific reason for naming you that interesting name?
It's actually a pretty funny story.
Please.
Well, the four of us, I guess the three boys are all biblical, and so we're Caleb, Benjamin, and Jacob. And then my baby sister is Amanda Lynn after Jimmy Buffett's song.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Combine the Bible with a religious musician. Yeah. And where are you from originally?
Chico.
And you've been here all your life?
Yeah, I moved to Tahoe about 5 years ago.
And you live there now? Or
Uh-huh.
Is that a good move to go there?
Oh, yeah. I went up there for an internship for a season and haven't left.
All right.
It's been great.
Fabulous. And so when you were growing up, what did you want to be?
Baja truck racer.
Did you end up doing that?
Still working on it. It's going to happen.
Yeah, those are fun.
Oh,
they,
yeah.
They
Oh, yeah.
fly
I
across.
like to go fast.
Yeah, and then they flip, and then they come back. It's all kinds of stuff. Do you have a family?
No, I'm single, but I do have my awesome family that you've already met.
Brother, yeah. And do you have any pets?
No, I've got roommates.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that works. Are they good roommates?
They're pets.
Okay, there are problems there. And what do you do now?
I'm a bartender, and I'm working on my real estate license.
Cool. How interesting. You got people here you could learn from. And how's business?
Unbelievable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go have a seat. Go have a seat. Go have a seat. Okay. So please write down success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. People answer our questions, they give us clues. We don't pay attention to the last words. The last words in anybody's sentence are the real power of the clue. But people are so eager for you to stop so they can talk, and we miss completely what people are saying. Did you hear some of those final words on some of those answers? They were really strong, but the average person misses them completely. So, the 5 questions, worth a fortune. Take a look at your handout. You've got a couple of pages that look like this. A couple of pages that look like this. This is what companies do when they bring me in to do this seminar for all their employees. What you have a copy of is of this. These are cards that various companies throughout North America have brought me in to do this for all their employees. They take the questions right off of your page over there. They put them on these cards. They put their logo on the other side. They laminate them and give them to all the employees. So you have a copy of this, front and back. See, I'm not into any deep psychology here today. I'm not here to analyze your right and left brain. I'm here to say, you want to connect with people in a fabulous way and you're genuinely interested? Here's your roadmap. Right here. You could be back at your company this afternoon and have an IT person produce a card just like this for your company with your logo on one side, the questions right off the page of page 2, laminate them, and here's what we did. One company in Houston brought me in to do this for all their employees, and we had the cards produced by the company, and at the end of the seminar, I simply asked everybody, would you all do me a favor? When all of you go back to your office, would you all please just tape the card to your phone? Please, when you go back to your office, would you just tape this card to your phone? I didn't say anything else. That company in the next 60 days doubled their sales. They doubled their sales. And it was all attributed to the fact that the people had the questions right by the phone. And somebody who was not used to talking to people had the question right there by the phone. And they would say, John, you and I have been dealing with each other for a couple of years. I must admit, I've never gotten to know you. I'm just curious. Where are you from originally? And 20 minutes later, John is asking, well, Boaz, tell me about the new product you all just developed. Tell me a little more about that. They doubled their sales, and all they did was put the card by everybody's phone. Who thinks that might be a grand idea? Simple, simple, simple. Please write down, our greatest potential for more business, our current clients. Our greatest potential for more business, our current clients. Who would agree with me? People are always wanting to go and get more business, more business. More. What about just doing a great job with where you are right now? And this is one way to do it. And if you've been dealing with somebody for several years, Dale Carnegie taught me the smooth way, the simple way to get to these 5 questions is to just say, I must apologize. I must apologize. We've been dealing with each other for 3 years. I've never really gotten to know you as a person. I'm just curious. Where are you from originally? And then, whatever they give you the answers, let's say it's on the phone, make notes of the answers. I said a while ago that you're all doctors of human relations, remember? Dear doctors, what do you call what you hold in your hands when you go around the hospital to visit your patients? What's this called? Charts. You want to make life easier, happier, more productive? Get yourself some charts. Not a sophisticated computer program, a notebook with some paper, and each page is a chart on somebody important in your life where you make notes of the answers we just got. So you can refer to them in the future. And you can leave a message on March 2nd. Isn't today your daughter's 3rd birthday? And if I'm genuine, doesn't that just stop you in your tracks? Of course. As the average person doesn't give a hoot. The average person is bored and broke. Okay? All right? So let's put a dollar value on these questions. Let's put $1, and we're exactly 20 minutes to our break. Give people time cues. So it was in Portland, Oregon. The day after my meeting, a CEO gets a call from a CEO of another company he's been negotiating with on a $5 million deal. $5 million deal. The message is she's coming over to tell him the deal is off. The deal is off. Why is the deal off? We've been working on this for months. Why is she coming over to tell me the deal is off? But as she's heading over there, he's thinking about the fact, Boaz would not be proud of me. I've been dealing with this lady for 3 months. I don't even know the first thing about her. And he's a genuine person. So she comes over, and he says, Mary, before we talk business, I'm just curious. Where are you from originally? An hour later, she's still talking about herself right before she says, I must admit to you, I came here with the intention of telling you our deal was off. But after talking with you, I've changed my mind. Let's go ahead. So let me see. I did basic math at elementary school. 5 questions, $5 million. That's about $1 million a question. That's all I can do is share with you. That's all I can do is just share with you. Now, some people walk out of here and say, well, it can't be that simple. Excuse me, in my humble but most accurate opinion, it is. So, I was in Canada yesterday, in Toronto. A few months ago, I was in Edmonton doing a meeting of CEOs. Last time I was with that group 7 years ago. So we're reviewing the 5 questions because we have some new members in the group. And one member says, Boaz, I have a report, please. He says, I was in China a few months ago, tried to start a business deal with a very successful Chinese businessman. He does not speak English. Our Canadian does not speak Chinese. So they're working through an interpreter. And the Chinese man is not opening up. He's not even looking up. He's just, what does it take here to get some communication going? Gee, he's not even looking up. What is going on here? He thinks, what have I got? Nothing. I'll ask him Boaz's 5 questions, because I've got nothing anyway. So he says to the interpreter, would you please ask Mr. So-and-so where he's from originally? He said the man lit up like a Christmas tree. Oh my gosh, I came from so-and-so way over there in the countryside. We were so poor, we had nothing. We had a little shack with a dirt floor. We had no food. 2 of my baby brothers and sisters died before they were a year old. And eventually when I was a teenager, I started this, and then I started this. Now we have this, now we have this. The Chinese man answered all the questions over the next 45 minutes with great animation. 2 months later, our Canadian gets a multi-million-dollar deal. The note translated to English is very clear as to its message. You honored me with your questions. Can it be that simple? All I can do is report to you. How many would agree it can be that simple? It can be that simple. So it was in San Diego. I was a consultant to a big car dealership. And a young man, never sold cars before, but genuinely interested in people, but he didn't quite know all the answers, all the questions, so he knew nothing better than to hold the questions in his cards out in the lot, in his hands. So when somebody would come up to look at a car, he would say, I'm just curious, where are you from originally? And what brought you here? And eventually you would say, what do you have there? I have some questions here. I'm really interested in learning about you. He became our top salesman from that moment. So 19 cars the first month, didn't know the first thing about cars. He's wondering if this one has a motor. It was almost that blatant. It was almost that blatant. They brought him customers. Oh, he doesn't know much about cars, but he'll get you a good deal. He held the questions in his hands, but he was genuine. He was genuine. Had somebody else a few months ago, a gentleman, a CEO, did not like big crowds. Did not like big crowds because he didn't feel comfortable. He didn't know what to do. So I said, put these questions on a card. He had a big event that weekend, big networking event. He called me on Monday. He said, Boaz, that was amazing. I said, what happened? What happened? He said, I put the questions on the cards, and when I went inside and I couldn't remember a question, I'd say, I'll be right back. He went in the hallway. So, what brought you here? He was genuine. He became the hit of the party. Everybody went up to the hostess and said, oh my gosh, that one man over there, he is so interesting. Take a look at the film. All he did is ask the 5 questions, and when he couldn't remember, he excused himself, went in the hallway, came back, asked the question. One CEO left a card with the questions on his end table at home. And his 2 daughters, they were 13 and 14, going to a brand new school. They just moved, going to a brand new school. They're uncomfortable, got to go to school. They don't know anybody. They found the card on his end table. They took it to school. They asked everybody the questions. They became the 2 most popular kids in school that year. The older girl became the president of the student council. All I can do is report to you. That's all I can do. So how many of you think it might be worthwhile to make these cards? Hello, hello, hello. For the rest of you, are you awake? Come on. Work with me. I told you how much this was worth, $1 million a question. Any questions about this? Any questions about this? All right, stand up one more time. Find someone who appears to look friendly. Give them a hug. All right, sit down, sit down, sit down. Some of you are having too much fun. Sit down, sit down, sit down. 14 and a half minutes to our break. Now that we just did is the following. Please write down, small agreements lead to large agreements. Small agreements lead to large agreements. Too many people want to go right for the big agreement. Here, sign my contract. Excuse me, did you notice I just got here? Could you have asked if I wanted some coffee or tea or if I'm comfortable in this chair? Those would have been some small agreements. So get some small agreements first. Socrates said, collect a bunch of yeses. So you've already been up several times, shaking hands, stretching. Now you give a hug. Don't ask what's next. Anyway, small agreements lead to large agreements. Small agreements lead to large agreements. Any questions about what we've been doing so far this morning? Any questions? Any questions? All right, if you're doing any kind of a meeting that goes for 2 or 3 hours and you're about to take a break, have your audience do a quick summary for you. Because if anybody's sitting in your audience, whether it's a small meeting or a large one, and they're thinking, this is the biggest waste of time I have ever seen in my life, I want to prove them wrong. I want to prove them wrong. So what I'd like to do is go around for just 2 or 3 tables and ask you to tell me one thing you already like about this morning, one thing specific. Is it the 5 questions, the 4 rules of answers, the unbelievable? What do you like? One idea already this morning. Please take the microphone. Michael, what do you think? What idea?
I like the rules of answers.
Yeah, aren't they simple? Please, let me make sure that's on. Just one second. Yeah. Okay, hold it up close. JD, what do you like? One thing so far.
I like the 5 questions.
Aren't they simple?
Yep.
A track to run on. Most people don't know what to do after hello. Bob, what do you like? One thing.
Unbelievable.
I love it. And Pat, what do you like so far this morning? One thing.
People are as interested in you as you are in them.
Exactly. So if I show no interest in anybody, no wonder nobody cares about me. All right, let's go back here to this table. What do we like? One idea so far this morning.
I like the rules for powerful meetings.
Yeah, and all you have to do, it takes you, 2 minutes to check. Okay, how are the lights? How are the shades? And, another rule for powerful meetings, please write down no empty chairs. No empty chairs. Now, it's difficult to control in a group this large, but most of our meetings are not this large. So if you have a meeting in your boardroom and you've got 10 people but 12 chairs, take the other 2 away. Push them against the wall. As empty chairs makes it look like your meeting wasn't important enough. Adding chairs later makes it look like it's getting more important. Oh my gosh, look, we have more people we expected. Can we pull up another chair? It works on everybody. But an empty chair also works on everybody in the wrong direction. So no empty chairs. Add chairs later when somebody comes in late. Make a big deal about it. Oh my gosh, look, we have more people. Makes your meeting look like it's getting more important. Also another rule, more people in a small room rather than a small group in a large room. If you've got a meeting with just 2 or 3 people, don't go into your big fancy boardroom with 20 chairs. You just lost a bunch of energy. Let's go down to my office. Let's sit around my desk. Much more intimate. So let's pass it that way. What do we like? What ideas so far this morning?
People will do more for the feel of importance than they will for money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Making people feel important.
Yeah. And by the way, Carnegie said, it is not something we want. It is something we all need. Every one of us needs to feel important. Every one of us. What do we like? One idea.
The rules of answers.
Absolutely. And what do we like? What idea so far this morning?
The group runs at the speed of the leader.
Exactly. Now, what if I didn't feel like having much energy today, and I chose for this time period to give everything I've got? I can rest later today, but the average person will just, I'm tired. Well, you're right. What do we like? One idea.
Words are previews of things to come.
You betcha. So we got to be careful. By the way, if somebody at work or a child tells you, let's say a child comes home and says, I'm no good in math. Don't say you shouldn't say that. Ask the question, is that what you want? What do you mean, Dad? Well, you said you're no good in math. And then do what Carnegie taught me, point to yourself. You know, son, somebody pointed out at work that I was doing that I was saying something I didn't want, and I'm not going to do it anymore. What do you think? See how gentle that is? Not, you're wrong. No. Words are previews, but don't tell anybody they're wrong. Carnegie said, don't point fingers at anybody. Point at yourself. What do we like next? Did we hear from everybody?
Attitude is everything.
Okay. This table back here. Weldon, what do you like so far? One idea this morning.
The greatest idea this morning for me was that the person that's controlling the conversation is not the one talking, but the one listening.
Exactly. Next, what do we like?
I'll echo what someone else said. The group runs at the speed of the leader. I really liked that.
And we're all leaders in one fashion or another, aren't we? At home or at work. Jason, what do you like? One idea.
Yeah, I think the idea that challenged me is that if I don't want it, then I don't say it.
Exactly. And by the way, if somebody makes a mistake, whether it's a child or somebody at work, Carnegie taught me, again, point to yourself first. You know, if I had a nickel for every time I made that mistake you just made, listen, I'd be a wealthy person. Please, you will never make that mistake as many times as I've made it. How can we improve on the situation? Rather than let's talk for an hour about how much you botched up. Most people beat a dead horse. Please. Come on, if we're honest, haven't we all made a bunch of mistakes? Come on, am I right? So don't point at anybody. Because Carnegie said, the most precious thing any one of us has is our self-image. The way I feel about me, that's the most precious thing. You want me to be like a champion for you, then don't attack my self-image, okay? Careful with that. And as much confidence as I feel I have, one word from somebody I care about that tears me down could just harm me forever. Would you agree? So be careful with people's self-image. So if anybody was sitting around here this morning thinking this is a big waste of time, excuse me, I just had about 20 people who thought it wasn't. So ask people to give a summary for you before you take a break. Any questions about what we've been doing so far today? Any questions? Anybody have any questions? Any comments or anything? Yes, please. Okay, what do you do if somebody just repeats one of these questions to you? I've been doing this for nearly 30 years, cannot recall the last time somebody did that. All I can do is report to you. But if they did, so if say, I'm just curious, where are you from originally? And they say, well, boys, where are you from originally? I'm originally from Israel. Now tell me more about where you're originally from. So I'll answer it, but I want to get right back to you. Because the average person will then go into a dissertation. No, Carnegie taught me, I want you to talk more. So if they ask in return, I'll just answer it. But then I go right back to them. The tone of voice is the critical part in all of this. Anybody get that? The tone of voice. Some people tell me, well, boys, some people just don't want to talk. Some people just don't want to answer questions. Well, I haven't found them. And maybe it's my own attitude, because I really am genuinely interested. See, all of you have got a story. All of you have got a unique story. All of you know something I don't. That's what my mother would get excited about. And she would ask you enough questions, and she said, now tell me more about that, what you were just saying. Well, that's kind of interesting. Tell me more about that. And she would learn from you. And you would be honored because she let you talk. So if there's one huge secret to success, and I teach this when I brought into companies to salespeople, as I did last week in Austin for a big seminar. How many of you feel salespeople talk too much? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Stop. Don't sell anything. Let the other person buy. Who would agree? Don't sell anything. I have nothing to sell you today. But I am looking forward to you buying your own potential. Here's a line I heard the other day I thought was really good. Please write down. Good isn't good when great is possible. Good isn't good when great is possible. Isn't that profound? So I don't want you just to be good in your own way that you see yourself, or in your relationship with your family, or in your relationship with people at work, or with your customers. I see you being great. It was November of 1956, and we're minutes away from our break. In that year, in the spring, my dad got the first visa to come to America. And when the visas came, they didn't come in batches. It took my family, my parents, 5 years, and all the money we had, which wasn't a lot, to get to do the paperwork to come to America. 5 years. 5 years. So the first visa comes in the spring of 1956. And so my dad's going to come to America. And in Israel, everybody serves in the reserves. Everybody serves in the military, which I'm not sure is a bad idea. Wouldn't we all take more responsibility? Who would agree? Come on. It's everybody's country. It's not just the people who serve in the military. But they make it possible for me to come and travel without having to get permission, which I like, and I appreciate that greatly. So the day that my dad is to take off for America, the day we take my dad to the airport is the day he's supposed to serve for his yearly reserves. The Israeli army chased him to the airport. Seriously. They got to the airport 10 minutes after he took off. So exciting. Love it. And so, and I know how good they are, so I'm glad he got away. But anyway, in the fall of November of 1956, my sister was 9 years older, so she was serving in the Israeli military. My sister, may she rest in peace, was 5 feet tall, but nobody messed with her. She used to shoot cannons in the Israeli army. Just stand up against the wall. We'll take care of this. It'll only hurt for a second. And so she was still in the military, and the day came in November of 1956 for my brother, my mother, and I to leave Israel on a ship to cross the Mediterranean, cross France by train, and cross the Atlantic by ship. I have shoes that are older than most of you, but anybody remember what was going on in November of 1956 in the Middle East? Anybody remember? The Suez Crisis. The Egyptians closed the Suez Canal through which the oil ships came. The day we boarded the boat in the port in Haifa, my brother, my mother, and I, to cross the Mediterranean, the very morning is the morning that war breaks out with Egypt. The Egyptians threatened to bomb our ship. How's that for a little cruise out of Miami? But I come from a culture where you do not let people see you sweat, because if you do, you could either die emotionally or physically. So the captain simply waited till midnight, turned off all the lights, turned the motors down low, and we took off across the darkness. And in the morning we saw the islands of Greece and we knew we were safe. You see, a ship is meant to sail. Would all of you please write down, I am meant to succeed. However you define that, whether it's in the way you see yourself, your relationships with your family, your relationships with people at work, or with your customers, you are meant to succeed. That's how I see it. And that's how we're going to do this. So you're going to love the second half of the program. Let me tell you what I just did to you. Directly out of the Carnegie book. Please write down, I'll develop in people an eager want. I'll develop in people an eager want. So when I say you're going to love the second half of the program, I'm developing in you an eager want. So whether you're presenting an idea to your kids, to your coworkers, or to your customers, why not preface by saying, I think you're going to like our proposal. I believe you're going to like our proposal. Subconsciously, it sets a mood for people. So develop in people an eager want. We're about to take a 15-minute break. Hold on just one second. During the break, you have an assignment. Do any of you know how many days you have left in life? No, God willing, it'd be many, but what if it wasn't, and you didn't tell the person you love the most how much you love them today? So your assignment during the break is to call someone, if you're married, to be a spouse, if not a significant other, or a fiancé, or a child, somebody you love, and tell them how much you love them. But don't do what one person did. Came back to the break. I said, who'd you get a hold of? Gentleman said, I got a hold of my wife, and I told her, you told me to call her. This is not my idea. This is not my idea. Why do I have to be so clear about this? So how many of you are having a good time so far this morning? Raise your hands. How many of you all are very glad I came along? This would be the right answer. How's business? Let's take a break.